What
Hello, everyone.
Live again. What's this, 3 weeks in a row? 4 weeks in a row? 3 weeks?
Something.
3 weeks in a row, I think, maybe.
Skip and Beth here to say
Skip and
hello
Beth.
on a Wednesday
Skip and
night.
Beth. On
The
a Wednesday
good-looking
night.
one is Skip.
The cheesy one is Beth. I made myself some tea tonight in my San Diego cup. Can you guys see that? San Diego. It's going to be backwards in your video. But I just realized with this cup, we've had this for a couple years now. We were in San Diego a couple years ago. And we did see the palm trees. We did see the surfers. But I didn't see any roller coasters. Like that looks like it was right on the beach or something. Maybe it's not, but
That must be some kind of
so there's
theme
palm
park
trees and
that we
some
missed
kind
there.
of theme park that we missed while we were there.
Comment below if you know what that is. We could have looked it up, I guess, but we have no idea.
I just thought of it just now when I was listening to my
We did like San Diego. We went to some kind of beach. We were on some kind of San Diego beach. I forget what it was called, but it was just a little bit south of La Jolla.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good week. We were back there 5-6 days, right?
Yeah, I
Something
liked
like
it.
that. Yeah, it was nice.
It
Nice
was our
weather.
first trip without kids in like
Water was way too cold.
10 or 12
Sorry,
years.
California, your water's too cold. Way too cold.
Although Florida is probably too hot.
Yeah, Hawaii was perfect. Why do we have
Just
to bring
right.
up Hawaii?
That's
We're always talking
Goldilocks
about Hawaii.
says
That's
just
right. Just right.
right.
It was beautiful water in Hawaii. I loved it.
yes, it was.
So.
Don't bring up such a painful thing. Well, we wanted to just tell a quick story while everybody's logging in here tonight. I wanted to bring up the fact that we went to Chick-fil-A this week, which is a wonderful, wonderful
Met a couple friends
place.
there. It was
Yes.
fun.
We saw some people there.
Chick-fil-A is actually a very good place to meet if you have kids because you can lock them in that soundproof play place and you can have a table right next to it and you can talk with your friends and you can kind of see them if they get like injured enough to have to go to the hospital, but you can't really hear them screaming.
Obviously, we're people that have older kids.
Yes.
Because I never would have let my little darlings when they were little go.
Well, here's the deal.
there.
We got 4 kids. Our youngest is 4 years old now. We never would have let Sophia run around there by herself at 4 years old. But Jude, bye-bye. Off you go.
He's a pretty tough guy.
He is
So
pretty
that's
tough.
part of it.
And his older siblings were in there too.
We have the older ones to
help
keep an
guide
eye and
him.
watch. So Skip's bright idea is to let the kids actually get a tray like that they serve the
That's
food on, and then he tells them go down the slides. They've got these tube slides,
Seriously.
and he says take those down the slide. And I think that Chick-fil-A is across most of the country, right? So people are probably aware of Chick-fil-A.
Well, McDonald's has play places, or Burger
That's
King
true.
had play places with the big plastic tube slide that goes down, you know. And it's
So, but anybody who's been to Chick-fil-A knows that it's delicious and delightful,
Yummy.
and you want to do everything you can to go back again. And so Skip telling our kids to go ahead and use the slides in the wrong way, or to use the playground
no,
the
not
improper
wrong,
way.
and the awesome way. There's no sign saying do not sit on the Chick-fil-A trays while
I
going
bet
down
there
the
is.
slide.
You're
There
going to be one of those
definitely is not.
guys who causes them to make new signs and has to
I'm
do
telling you
that.
what. I have a video of our kids doing this, not this time around, but a couple of years ago, I guess. I'll see if I can post it. If it'll let me post the video on the Family Faith and Flip Flops site, I will post it.
It makes them fly when they
Yeah.
take the
They come
tray
down
and
that
they
slide
slide down the
way
tube.
faster than human
They go
children are
super
supposed
fast.
to go, and they love it. They actually skip across the floor on the bottom when they come flying out.
However, how terrible would it be to get a lifetime ban from Chick-fil-A? I mean, could there be
It would be
too many things worse
First
than
of
that?
all, if you get a lifetime ban, all you have to do is use the drive-thru to get your Chick-fil-A fix, and you'd have the most awesome story in the world how you taught your kids awesomeness, and we got banned from the play place at Chick-fil-A.
No. And this
That would be a
actually
great
was our
story.
conversation driving home from Chick-fil-A. Me saying, oh my gosh, please do not let the kids ride a slide with the tray so that we don't get banned for life. And the kids go, how would they enforce it? How would they be able to say that you could never come back? And so I told them, oh, they'd put your picture up at Chick-fil-A so that they would keep you out
And
forever.
I literally said that would be such a cool story if you guys got us banned from Chick-fil-A.
No,
But
we need to stay at Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I could eat there 7 times a day.
We watched
There
the
it
Tim
is.
Hawkins
I said
video.
I was going to try to sing in every video.
You are hitting it out of the park.
Well, bam.
Watch the Tim Hawkins video if you haven't seen the Tim Hawkins Chick-fil-A song. It's a family favorite.
It's
and
very good.
Hilarious.
He sings Chick-fil-A to the tune of
Yesterday by the Beatles.
And it's pretty funny.
He's clever.
He's very clever.
And Jude said that. I don't know where he heard the word clever. I mean, maybe us, but he's like in this car seat in the back going, that guy's clever. And so it's really funny coming from a 4-year-old.
It was fun.
All right. Are you ready to surprise me?
I'm ready.
With a topic?
Well, you're going to surprise me first, right?
Am
Ladies
I
first this week?
I don't know. Should I go first?
Sure.
All right. Well, I think that we should talk about the fact that I was in Starbucks today with you.
Yes.
And we were using an app, the Starbucks app, right?
Correct.
And it popped up with a message that said, "Do you love this app?"
Oh, this is good.
And I sat there kind of frozen for a minute going, "Do you love this app?" It gave you the option yes or no. And so I saw, okay, do you love this app? Yes or no. I was completely frozen because
I'm literally reaching over to her phone and trying to tap it.
I'm pretty ambivalent about the Starbucks app. I would say love is a very strong word. I wouldn't say I love the Starbucks app. But I don't think it's fair to say that, no, I don't love the Starbucks app because it's helpful and it works fine. So then if we hit no, okay? And so then it pops up with this questionnaire. It has like 30 questions.
So,
well, since you don't love it, do this extensive survey to tell me
or your visit better.
Why don't you love it? Well, I liked it just fine. It's just kind of a average feeling.
She didn't want to say yes because if you say yes, they ask you to rate the app.
Somewhat positive. I don't want to rate the app. I don't want to.
So instead of just hitting no and cancel and exiting out real fast, which I was trying to do for her.
That's what I did. I made a choice, but I feel like it's so much pressure. I felt like it was a lot of pressure all of a sudden. I'm enjoying a drink at Starbucks, and all of a sudden I've got the pressure of...
Can you hashtag on live video? Hashtag Starbucks?
Do you love this?
I wonder if the Starbucks voice follower picks that up. Hashtag Starbucks.
They have a voice app?
I don't know.
Oh, you're saying...
I'm saying, yeah.
The
Facebook
interwebs.
Has
the NSA.
The NSA. That's Facebook and the NSA.
Are in this now. So, if you have access to web developers, you can ask them, why do they ask us if we love the app? I know they want feedback. I know everybody wants feedback, but I don't want to give feedback. I just want to enjoy my
Some
drink.
of them do say, are you wanting to rate the app?
Yes.
And this is not now or yes.
Yes.
And so that's
I always say not now. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
I don't want to hurt their
I don't want to
feelings.
hurt the web developers' feelings by not rating their thing, but I don't want to do ratings and things.
They're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. They want the feedback. That's why they're asking for
I
it.
had a pop-up window just now. I don't like pop-ups. Can we just talk about how little fun pop-ups
That
are?
might be a surprise topic for another time. Remember when the internet first was getting popular and like you literally had a pop-up every 10 seconds before like all the pop-up blockers started happening?
Yeah.
It was terrible. I hated that.
Yes.
So.
All right. That was my topic.
So, well, back to I don't want to leave your topic yet.
Oh, no. Please.
I still have some stuff
Yes.
to talk about on this topic.
A remedy for my
So the
issues.
problem, this might be a topic for another time, actually.
Okay.
Maybe I will. I'm going to save that.
Oh, geez. You just left everybody hanging.
Yes, I'll leave you hanging until next week. I hope I remember.
Why don't you comment below with what you drink at Starbucks? So maybe you'll give me some new ideas for something to try. Today I had a chai tea with a shot of coffee in it. So,
Did you like it?
hey, what do you drink at Starbucks? Write it below.
Did you enjoy it?
I did like it.
Yeah.
But I did doctor it up. I did foo-foo it up a little bit. I ordered a dirty chai, which is an espresso shot in the chai tea with whole milk, no water. Anything else? That's it.
Yeah.
And that's good. So you can order that.
And I had a cinnamon dolce latte. Of course, cinnamon. It's one of the running themes up here on our Facebook Lives is cinnamon.
It's one of your running themes in life.
Oh gosh, I love cinnamon.
Skip told me one time he's glad that they don't make cinnamon flavored crack. Otherwise, he'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't be able to help himself, and he would be on crack, I guess.
Yeah.
Cinnamon crack. Michael Rogerson, hello. He drinks cold brew, no water, almond milk with a few pumps of sugar-free syrup. Oh, see, look at you. You know how to doctor it up because you go to the gym.
Michael Rogers.
You don't want to undo the gym.
Chick. That's totally a white chick drink.
You don't want to undo like your 800 hours at the gym by drinking like a 1,500 calorie drink.
Yeah.
I do drink something different every time. I feel like you have to change it up.
So, to go to this, when we go through the drive-thru together, I'm generally driving, and she gives me one of these, 40-word drinks, and...
I'm just trying to modify it to the things that I like, so I don't know if that's asking too much. I mean, if you guys are baristas, you can tell me, is it asking too much? Should I just not add extra words? I do it in their language. I don't say like...
I do it in their
large
language.
coffee with a splash of milk, I try to say.
In those people's language.
I learned the language. I say like grande and venti. Crystal says, I'm a simple Dunkin' Donuts girl. I like Dunkin' Donuts, especially the donuts.
I love the donuts.
Michael says he learned that drink from a white chick. So there you have it.
So anyway, I don't like Dunkin' Donuts coffee or their coffee drinks because they're super sweet like the donuts, and I don't enjoy that part of it.
Have you ever had their black coffee? Do you
yes, I'm not a fan of their black. It's
sweet.
okay, but
it's because Skip drinks like the
I'm a coffee
hardest.
connoisseur.
Well, you drink like burnt coffee.
It's not burnt
You're like
coffee.
Starbucks Italian roast.
I like Italian roast coffees. I like French roast, like bold.
He's bold.
Yeah.
He's got to be manly when he drinks his coffee.
I don't want my coffee to feel like it's been watered
He doesn't
down.
want to be a girl when he drinks his coffee.
I actually hate burnt coffee.
But you drink the cinnamon dolce latte now.
Yeah, that's my dessert.
You've girled it up a little
coffee
bit.
drink when I'm not in the morning. In the morning, I strictly drink black coffee. So.
Yes, like a pot of it, half a pot.
Anyway.
All right.
On to my secret topic.
Enough Starbucks deliciousness for now.
So, let us know what you drink from Starbucks if you'd like.
Yes.
My secret topic now is hair.
Okay.
So.
What about it?
Couple things.
Oh, jeez.
About Beth's hair and my hair.
I'm concerned where this is going, honestly. Okay.
So, I'll go to Beth's hair first, ladies first. As I was even putting this t-shirt on today, I had to dig hairballs out from the armpits and stuff, like in the neck, because when we do laundry at our house, you can't really see in this. Look at this hair. This is, like, I'm going to pick it up, like, lean back. I'm going to lift this hair, 20 pounds, maybe 50.
Yes, I would literally be 100 pounds if I didn't have so much hair.
Yes. Her hair is everywhere. I've literally said that I wanted to breed her with a poodle. So, or I wish somebody would have bred her with a poodle so she would be a non-shedding human. Because her hair is
I would be
everywhere.
A Bethadoodle.
A Bethadoodle, that is awesome. Yes, please.
A wife-a-doodle.
A wife-a-doodle.
I wonder if all men have this issue, like anybody that's married. You can comment below if you find hair everywhere.
Sometimes when I pull the t-shirt over and I don't see the hair right away.
Something about the dryer ingratiates it with the fabrics of your clothing.
No, it doesn't ingratiate it with the fabrics of clothing.
Not ingratiate, ingrain.
It balls it up and puts it right in the armpit crux of my...
It has an armpit-seeking
I'll be
vessel.
at work
That's
or sitting here
saying.
on this on this live video, and I'll feel a tickle under my armpits, like there's an ant or a bug or something on there, and I'm like going like this.
It's true.
I look like a monkey or something, like scratching my armpit constantly. And then finally I'll see one little hair hanging out of the sleeve, and I pull it, and it's attached to a big...
You literally...
Did that just happen?
You literally have one right now.
Oh my gosh, I can feel it's all the way down by my belly button.
Oh my god.
That was not set up.
You did plan it.
I did not. Look at that.
Can the camera even see it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really gross though. Maybe take it away from the camera.
Yeah, that's your hair. That's not gross.
It's not gross.
That was not planned.
Like,
I was just joking, and she saw the hair hanging out.
I think you have another one as well.
Unbelievable. Now you guys can feel my pain.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Yep, that was another one.
My
there.
dreads hold all my shedding. Awesome. Maybe we'll go to dreadlocks. That would be incredible.
Crystal, my brother, used to have dreadlocks, and he spent a lot of time making them really good and stuff, and he'd put these special, like, creams and pomades or something, I don't know, on it. But then...
Oh, how I wish he was watching right now.
He would... Well, he denies that this happened. Maybe I shouldn't have said this story. He denies it. But one day, we were hanging out in the living room, and he flops down on my parents' white carpet, and he gets up, big black stain where he had his head resting. And so he denies that it ever happened, but we saw it, so I don't know.
It was very
something
funny.
About the stuff he was using created a dirt spot.
Anyway, and to my hair, kind of a funny story this week. I got a haircut, if you can tell. It's all high and tight. Well, I don't since we've lived here in Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, I haven't had like a barber that I go to. And I generally go to the barber because I like to get short haircuts. If you guys have a great barber, tell me, because I would love to go to someone every week.
Did you just go like this to do air quotes with these fingers rather than these fingers?
I don't think so.
Okay. We'll play it back.
Oh,
we need an instant replay. Hold on a minute. 10-yard penalty.
Let's go to rewind. A barber.
I think you did. You did like I love you air quotes.
I love you air quotes.
I love you air quotes.
If you have a barber that you love.
Yes, please. That's the new way you air quote.
Yes, I'm going to air quote like this forever.
You must always air quote like
that. See, look,
huh?
I can't bring this pinky up though. Like when I do that, I love you because I broke this bone when I was
all right,
in a fight once.
Go on with your...
Anyway.
Go on with your ads,
that was live. I can't take that back. So, I just Google when I'm out at work on my phone, barbershops, and I just go to the closest one. So I've visited a lot of barbershops locally here in Cape Coral, Fort Myers. So I Google this one and I go in, and it was like 12 barbers in one little strip plaza store, and all the chairs had a barber behind them, and I think one or two of them spoke English, but they were all Hispanic and they all spoke Spanish. And so...
Is it Portuguese or Spanish?
I think it was Spanish.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. So I go in and I sit down, and the guy that cut my hair didn't even know how to say, I was wearing a ball cap, so he just goes, like, take your ball cap off. I was like, okay. And so just the whole thing, I just showed him a picture on my phone of what I wanted. Really funny experience. The experience was great. I loved it. I think barbershops are can be really neat experiences if you do it right. That's why I'm looking for one I can go to every week. But
personable, like guy.
Personable,
yes.
Everybody horsing around, and even more so in a Hispanic barber. First time in a Hispanic barbershop, and it was a lot of fun. But you were not gonna be able to see it in the camera, but he took like the straight edge and he edged in my sides with a straight razor. And brought my sideburns to like a point, a V right here and stuff. So it wasn't typically how I do it, but
well, your real name is Steven with a V, so he was going to
there
do
you go.
it.
I was one handsome white boy for a couple days until it started growing out, but I was all edged up. Anyway, couple hair stories. Thought that would be funny. That was my secret topic this week.
Okay.
So anyway, if you guys got a great barber that I can go to every week.
Maybe they can do something with Skip's hair.
What's wrong with my hair?
Your hair's alright. Nothing's wrong with it.
My hair's gorgeous.
Yes.
You just totally agree. I was waiting for a comeback.
You're gorgeous. You're so gorgeous.
So, anywho.
I'll kiss your gorgeous face later.
We're a couple minutes in now, so you want to get into the...
I do think that's why the people paid the big money to be
big
here.
We totally need some theme music when we go to the main topic. I'm going to get like an old tape
like Rocky,
player.
Like dun-dun-dun.
No, like
Dun-dun-dun.
Let's get ready to rumble with the lights and the music,
yeah.
And that would be great, wouldn't
That's
it?
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Oh,
we're
gosh,
going
that would
to
be
install
awesome.
these bright lights.
Yes.
In our studio.
In our studio, in our master bedroom studio.
Our master studio.
Very funny.
All right, you want to do this?
So yeah, let's do the main topic.
Okay, my friends, we're glad you're here. We wanted to just gather with you for a couple minutes and talk about the fact that there's a lot of change in the air. There's a lot of things going on. I think a lot of people are having a lot of emotions about all the change. So we've lived through a lot of change, and we wanted to share some of our stories about how we rolled with it and came out the other side. That sometimes things feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'll make it, or, your life feels disjointed, or, you have, okay, well, I've done this and I've done this and I've done this and I've done this, and I don't know how all the pieces work together. So we just wanted to talk for a few minutes about, how we've processed some of that stuff, and how we came through the other side of it. So here's our stories, and you guys can, build off of it and see if any of it relates to you.
Yeah, and and we are in a super unique time right now, in our country's history, but also world history. A lot of stuff going on in the world, and with our political stuff going on, and I'm not even here to take sides or anything, but whether you were for or against either one of the candidates, Hillary or Trump, you were surprised, like that the whole world was surprised when Hillary wasn't our president, and so people were all kind of taken back, and now there's a lot of changes happening, and it seems like things are going a different direction, things are kind of upside down or whatever, and through that, I feel like we have been through personally some times like that felt like that for us as we went through parts of our life, and we came out on the other side, well. So I think that if you keep perspective, in your mind right in the right direction, then you'll know and you'll understand on the inside of who you are, that you'll be able to come through on the other side.
So we wanted to encourage you to have peace as you go through life's transitions and changes. Nothing stays the same in life. So even if you work the same job, live at the same house, there's always things that vary and go. So I just encourage you really that you can have peace. And so here's what, some of the things that we did to have peace in the midst of it. So you want me to give a little backstory?
Yeah, we can. I can. You can. However you want to do it.
Yeah, I think that the short story of the backstory is that in 2009, we kind of had the worst year ever. And so we...
Definitely our worst year ever.
It was our worst year ever. Yeah. It could rank on the scale of global, well, maybe global, maybe not. Okay, American worst year ever. So we were in our own small business, and we had our house, our dream home, tied to it. And so we had those both, and we had our shiny Lexus, and we had everything that we wanted. I was pregnant with a little girl, and we had 2 children already at the time.
Beautiful pickup truck. Everything. I mean, our dream. It was the white picket fence dream. Everything that we wanted. Everything that we thought we were working for.
And in a period of 6 months, it all went away. And so within just a few months, the business tanked. Our dream house went away. Our shiny Lexus went away. And then not long after that, our daughter died. We had a full-term stillborn child. And so it was completely surprising, reeling, taking us back.
Yeah.
And so we had our life in pieces. We were literally in shambles, trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we even come back from all of this? And so that was a lot of our pieces.
Right. And so through that, I really think when you go through something like that as a couple, it will either, pull you together, or it can be something that can tear you apart. I think it's really hard to have middle ground. And so, and thankfully for us, we were very intentional about coming closer and being closer than ever. And so as we went through that whole process in the morning and everything else, we ended up in the spring of the next year. This was all in the middle and toward the end of 2009. And so by the spring of 2010, we had basically sold anything that we had left, and just were dumping life as fast as we could, and moved to Central America. And so we got down there with just the money in our pocket and a couple of suitcases, and our two oldest kids is what we had at the time. Really mourning, the loss of our third child. And so it was a tough time, and we got down there, and people said, well, what'd you do down there? And we really didn't do anything.
We healed.
We healed, yeah. You know, we learned about each other. We learned about life. We made some good friends. You know, there was a church down there that we met a bunch of the people there. Still to this day, I mean, we don't obviously see them every day living in Florida and stuff, but we, you know, with technology, we're able to stay connected with some of our friends down there, and there, we will go down and visit, you know, throughout life, because we just did make that close of friends while we were down there. But we did. We went down, we healed, and we began to put the pieces back together. And, you know, I remember one of the things that I found when we were down there is a joy of writing. Like I you know, I didn't do well in school. School was not my cup of tea. And so while we were down there, right before we left, we decided to blog for the first time. This blog that this is attached to, familyfaithandflipflops.com, is attached. That's when we bought that domain name, and Beth began to write on that. So it's been 7 years now, this blog, and you know, obviously through the years it hasn't been real consistent, but we've kept it. I had another one that I no longer have anymore, but I began to write on that, and I realized I really enjoyed writing, and so that helped me in my processing of what we were going through. But in that, one of the things that I wrote was, I felt like my life was shattered into a million pieces. And so I ended up one morning, probably 3 or 4 in the morning, sitting in the dark in the dining room with the laptop open, just having a conversation with God, to be real transparent, and saying, God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know how to do this. And I just remember having a conversation, parts of it out loud, with saying, like, I feel like these pieces are all over, and I almost felt like I was, as if I was actually picking up a piece of my life, like business or relationships or, and I just felt like inside of me, God was saying, well, what do you want to do with that piece? Like, we literally had no strings attached at that time, right? I mean,
yeah.
We had sold everything. We left the country, the country that we were born in and raised in, and we're sitting in a foreign country to us. And so I just remember having a really, really, you know, hard but precious time going through that, and putting those pieces back together, and saying, okay, I didn't like this piece at all, you know. God saying, yeah, get rid of it. You don't have to have that piece. You don't have to carry that anymore. And I didn't like this, and I didn't like that, and I loved this, and this was good, and, you know. And I remember just kind of being able to rebuild almost the best version of me versus a good version of me. So it was difficult, but good. And I just remember going through, and I would go for walks all the time in the mountains in Costa Rica, and I would cry. I remember being on walks by myself and just being up at the top of a mountain on a little windy road that went to the top of a mountain. I'd just be up there crying. You know, nobody, no cars. I mean, one car a day would drive over the top of that mountain. And, you know, I remember up there yelling. I would get up there and just yell at the world, you know, and you know, it might be really funny if there's actually a house right below and I didn't know it. Yes.
Who is this crazy American guy?
Crazy gringo, right?
What?
And so up here yelling at God, but so we went through it, and you know, I know Beth went through it, and again we had our 2 older kids and stuff, so it was just a process that we went through. And so that was 7 years. We've been 7 years on this road, and you know, honestly, we can. Sorry, there's a pop-up. We go through the process, and you realize, like, yeah, this is still very painful. Obviously, when you think about losing a child or a business or your home and everything, like, it all went away that summer. But looking back, hindsight now, we can obviously see, you know, everybody always says hindsight's 20/20 vision, you know, and realistically it is. Like, when you look back, you
I do think a lot of understanding comes later. Yeah.
Yeah, so you find out that, you know, oh, this was a bad way to handle this, or that was a bad way to handle that, or I could have done this better, or, oh, this was a beautiful way that I walked through this. And, right. And you do get a lot more understanding, you get a lot, you know, which honestly is where wisdom comes from, I think. You know, life's happenings and everything that's going on, you begin to gain wisdom, because now I have that back here. Beth has that back here in her head. So when we go through these similar situations in the future, or if we have to walk with somebody else who's going through something very similar, then we have the wisdom of those, oh, I could have, or oh, this was good, or whatever.
So we want to encourage you right now, wherever you're at, if you're in a season where it feels like that, where all things are kind of up in the air, you don't know exactly what's going on, well, take the pieces and ask God, what do you think about this piece? What should I do with this piece? Should I keep this? Should I not? And it seems like a lot of times that God will ask you, well, what do you really want? Do you really want this still? Yeah. And so when the Bible talks about that he gives us the desires of our heart, that's sort of what he's talking about. He puts these desires in your heart, but you also get a voice in this, and you get to say, well, you know what? I did always want to be a writer. Like Skip can go, yeah, I didn't study in school, but I love to write. And so Skip, was then able to do that. He was able to say, okay, well, I did always want to have a VW bus. And so then...
That was a lot of fun.
He bought a VW bus and drove 45 miles an hour through the mountains of Costa Rica.
And the funny thing is, nobody has VW buses in Costa Rica. So we were known as the gringos with the VW bus. We stood out,
a bunch of white people with the big blue bus. Yeah. So, but it was very fun. So be encouraged. Take the pieces of your life and start putting them on a firm foundation of, you know what, this is really me. I feel most alive. I feel good when I'm doing this. And start building your life on that. Or, when I act like this, I love it. I feel like a great person when I go out and serve other people. When I go and, when I had a conversation with that homeless guy, I felt awesome inside. Well, that's an indicator. If you light up in something, that's an indicator to do more of that. So whatever that is, if it's teaching preschoolers or if it's holding art classes or whatever it is, I would encourage you in a season of reinvention, when things are, all over the place, take the time to go ahead and build it back the way you wanted to build it. Build it back on the firmest, most solid foundation that you can. We obviously encourage you to do that with God, because that's the way that we've made it through.
And that, for us, that was a huge extreme. Like, we literally sold everything, got rid of everything, moved to a different country, and then began to rebuild and reinvent ourselves. Yeah. So obviously it doesn't have to be that extreme. You can go through what you're going through right now, where you're at right now, and all that without doing... if you feel like you need to or you want to just get away and stuff, then by all means.
You don't have to get away to do it.
Right.
You can.
But you can begin to reinvent yourself where you are now. And sometimes when you do that, it's going to, the people that were used to you being this person and you start being this person, it's going to cause some friction between those relationships, and some of them will hold on and some of them won't. And so...
But when you're feeling fulfilled, you're going to be able to have the life that you want. So, and we encourage you to keep your good humor as you go through change. Don't let everything get you down and be dour. So a lot of times, we like to joke. Maybe it's our Irish side. I don't know. Maybe it's just a coping mechanism. Skip does inappropriate humor where he'll make awkward jokes, wrong timing. But
when I get super uncomfortable, I do make very awkward jokes, and we call it my inappropriate humor.
It's not like crude humor,
but
it's
for
like
instance,
out of turn.
One time we were at a funeral.
No, we're gonna say that story.
I'm not allowed to say that story.
You can.
Okay.
So
we knew a person whose mother died, and
I'll give the real short story.
And so I was really, I am really, I am really like feel really awkward to go up to an open casket. Like, it's not like, I'm sure everybody feels that way, but I didn't like going near open caskets. And so this person was saying, hey, will you come walk up there with me to see my mom? And so I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And they were like, please, that would really mean a lot to me. So I'm like, okay. So we walk up to the edge of the casket, and I think you said,
probably. I said,
she looks good.
She looks really good.
And the person says, oh, she would die if she saw her hair like that.
Oh my gosh, she would die if she saw her hair like that.
And I went, too late. I didn't know what to do or say.
So awkward. I just don't even know what to do with Skip sometimes.
And when it's coming out, like I'm trying to stop it and I just can't.
It's like a train wreck. Like I'm just sitting there watching it happen and I'm like, I can't stop it. I don't know what to do.
And that's just one example, but that happens all the time. So if we're at a funeral, please show grace for me.
Skip needs a lot of grace in life in general.
Yeah.
We all do. We all need a lot of grace.
We
but you and your joking, OMG.
So, anyway, can we go back a little bit?
Yes.
To talk about the process again, like what we were going through while we were processing. This week, came up with something, like me and Beth, there's some things we're going through now, some big changes. And, I mean, not quite as big as the changes then. I mean, we're not moving out of the country or anything. But, we're going through some changes like a lot of people right now in this time are in our country. And some different feelings and stuff like that. So we're processing through them. And I was talking with Beth. I was praying with her and stuff. And I just felt like I didn't like the word process anymore. And this might just be me, or you guys might agree with me. I know Beth did. I feel like when you say the word process, it's like what, a piece of wheat goes through to become baking flour. It's like a tearing and a ripping and a grinding. And I feel like as we're going through life, people are saying, enjoy the process, or the process creates, greatness.
You're gonna have process.
Yeah,
so just deal with it.
So. and I really said, I don't even want to use the word process anymore. So I said, we're gonna use the word experience. And then all of a sudden when I said that, it just started rolling from inside of who I was. And I'm like, yeah, we should be experiencing these things. We're going to learn from these things. Like, whether you're going through something like, as heavy as what we went through when we lost a child, like, it was important for me to not process through with God and get through. It was important for me to experience a side of God that I could have never experienced before. And I'm not saying God did that to me or wanted me to go through that so I could experience a side of Him or anything like that. But I did go through it on this side of heaven, and I was able to begin to experience God in a way that I never had before. And as we go through things now, and as we're our business is shifting and changing and these kind of things, we're able to experience those things. Like, it's almost like, don't try to avoid the harder things, breathe them in, keep your eyes wide open and look at the sights and the sounds that are around you and really experience it. Gain what is there, let it teach you. You teach the experience. You can go into that experience and say, you know what, this is who I am in this experience. This is who I'm going to be, and I refuse to be anything less than this. And you can begin to dictate how you're going to go through that experience, that part of your life. And the celebrations are the same. Experience all the greatness of the celebrations. Invite people in, and all of it. Invite people in when you're mourning. Invite people in when you're celebrating. Invite people in when you're just in a rut, and it's every day. I think sometimes we get into an everyday rut, and if we weren't processing that moment of just kind of day in and day out blah, and we were experiencing it, I think we would live a little happier through those kind of lulls where it's not anything bad and it's not anything great. It's just kind of everyday life. And then all of a sudden you go, wow, I'm going to experience today. Look at that sunset. Look at the way the sun looks on my wife's face as it comes through the window in the car, and how beautiful and golden she looks. Look at, to experience the nice minivan that we're driving down the road with air conditioning in it and everything works, and, those kind of things, and just begin to experience all these parts of life. And then I think you begin to live a little bit more, a little bit cleaner, a little bit happier. So.
Yeah, Gloria says processing is for computers.
Correct. Very good. Thank you.
When he said that to me, it made me think of a quote from Krista Black. She says, when you shut down your heart to pain, you also shut down your heart to love. And so it made me think that, yeah, if you're going to numb the pain of you going through something, you're also numbing the highs and the love and the beauty that you can have. So as you're going through change, as you're, in a process, be sure that you're not numbing it and refusing to feel it.
That's good.
Experience it. Let your heart go along with the journey. Let God walk that journey with you and be open so that you can learn from it. Because pretty much we've seen that if you shut yourself down and you refuse to learn from the situation that you're in, you're probably going to be able to have that same experience again in the future. And, if you don't like what you're going through, then, just take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm going through this and I'm going to come out the other side better. And so we really want to encourage you. We have come out the other side and we feel better and stronger and wiser. And so we know that it can be the same for you. So we love you. If we were there, we'd wrap our arms around you and tell you that you've so got this.
We've literally lived through every bad experience we've ever experienced, right?
Yeah.
We're here. We're alive. We made it.
Yeah, we literally are alive. Yes, that's true. And I think that we literally didn't shut down to most of them, so that we are able to gain a wisdom or a new perspective, a new insight or a love for people in a different way because of it. And so, and I do think that when you invite God along for the journey, you have grace that you wouldn't have otherwise. I think that walking, with God, the grace is like a oil between the wheels of the cog, or whatever that is. I'm not mechanical, but it just greases everything to be able to make it smoother. So even in the midst of our deepest sadness with loss and stuff, we still felt support and love, and we still felt that there was a realm of protection around us. We go, it could have been so much worse, we're so thankful, God. It could have been so much worse. We're thankful for the people around us. They made it so much better and easier. And so I think that...
So experience life. Like when you get off of this video today.
Don't let it steal your joy. If you're in a change, in a transition process, don't let it steal your joy. That's yours to keep.
Yeah, there's nuggets of awesomeness and everything that you're going to be going through. So look for those nuggets. Look for those blessings. Look for the really neat parts of things that are just mundane, or things that are hard or sad or difficult, or even the joyful things. Sometimes you go to a circus or something, and you focus on one circus act and you've missed the whole thing. But to kind of sit there and take in everything, and to look at this one and look at that one and just see the amazingness.
Yeah, my husband's really good at experiencing life. He's really good at enjoying the things. For him to notice that the sun hits me a certain way and it makes me prettier. It's not the time for that. But he just notices things. He lives life fully. So he's very wholehearted. So it's a good way.
Yeah, if you're around me long enough, you'll understand that
teaching me.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Yes.
Don't I?
Yep. The sleeves where my hair is coming. It's all balled up.
Pulling out the fur balls of Beth's awesome
shedding.
mane.
Bethadoodle.
Bethadoodle's mane.
Well, we love you. Have a wonderful week. Connect with us on Facebook or Twitter. Go check out the blog and do some reading, comment. Go ahead and put any questions, or if there's any thing that you're going through and you want to talk about it in the upcoming weeks, drop it in the comments below so that we can talk about that too.
Yeah, sounds good. And find us on all of our social medias on the internet.
Let's be social together.
Let's be social together.
It's not special.
All right. Love you guys.
Love ya.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.